Hey everyone, it's Fox with FoxeoGames, and let's talk about the announcement at E3 2015 that the Xbox One will be backwards compatible with select titles from the Xbox 360. Well, there are some keywords in there that you need to pay really close attention to. But first of all, I want to talk about the idea of backwards compatibility as a whole. Now, we know that when the PlayStation 2 came out, it was compatible, or at least depending on the model that you bought, it was compatible with the PlayStation 1 or the original PlayStation. But backwards compatibility hasn't really been a big deal when it comes to selling the actual console. Because you think about it, if you have a whole bunch of games for a PlayStation, then you likely have a PlayStation. So while it is more convenient to be able to put the PlayStation away and just have the PlayStation 2 out there and reduce the number of systems sitting on your entertainment center, I don't think it really sells systems. I don't think people walk into a store and think, well, gee, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Wii U. Well, the Wii U is backwards compatible with the Wii, so I'm going to buy the Wii U for backwards compatibility. I don't think that's a deciding factor for the customer. People don't make buying decisions based on it. So essentially, it's a value add for the customer. It's a value add for gamers. It's a great move to get on the good side of gamers, but I don't think it directly translates into sales. So from a business standpoint, it's not really good. It's not really a good decision to make in terms of the ultimate payoff. I don't think you're going to make really any money off the idea of being backwards compatible. Like I said, it's a value add. You can throw that out there and put that as another bullet point on your system, but I don't really think it's going to be a selling point. It's not going to be that point on which someone makes their decision. I don't think anyone's going to go PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Well, Xbox One is compatible with Xbox 360 games. Boom, that's the one I'm buying. I personally don't think anyone's going to go with that. Now, there might be a handful of people out there, but certainly not enough to make it worthwhile. Not enough to make it a cost-benefit ratio worthwhile in terms of the business. Let's talk about the Xbox 360's backwards compatibility. You know, some people never even noticed that the Xbox 360 actually had some backwards compatibility with the Xbox, the original Xbox. And I know it's frustrating now because people used to call the original Xbox the Xbox One, and it's really just Xbox, but people call the Xbox 360 Xbox. And anyway, these things get confusing. But when I say Xbox, I mean Xbox. When I say 360, I mean Xbox 360 and so on. So the Xbox 360 had limited backwards compatibility. It was only for select titles. If you grab the disc for Fable, pop it in your 360, boom, it works. Grab a disc for Gun Valkyrie, pop it in your 360, it does not work. We're going to get the same exact thing with the Xbox One. I don't have an Xbox One personally. I'm mainly a PC gamer. I bought a PlayStation 4 primarily for Bloodborne. I buy consoles for their exclusives. That's why I have a Wii U, because there were a couple games on that I wanted, Monster Hunter as well as the up-and-coming Xenoblade Chronicles X, which for me is a must-play, so I picked one up. But for everyone else, again, I don't think it's a big selling point. It's nice, but here's the issue. I don't really think this is as big a deal as people are making it out to be. First of all, Microsoft said that the games will run just like they ran on the 360. And they kind of advertise that as a good thing, but that's not a good thing. When you have a backwards compatible system, you want it to play the games from the previous system, but better, maybe in a higher resolution, or maybe make them look nicer, or maybe take an older game and, you know, scale it up to fit your HD TV, something of that sort. But instead, you're getting the same exact experience. And they actually showed a Mass Effect game. I think it was Mass Effect 3. I'm not 100% sure on that. It was either Mass Effect or Mass Effect 3. And the thing was playing at like a very pathetic, like maybe 20 frames per second, if not lower. So I'm surprised that they decided to show a game which had a pretty bad frame rate. That was a bit surprising. You think they would have picked a game that would have run a lot smoother. So it's sad to see that rather than like a remaster where you get the original game with, you know, upscaled resolution, some better textures, higher frame rate or anything like that, you're getting the same experience you would have had on the 360, except it's only for select games. And this is where we really run into the problem. Even if you just get the same experience as the 360 and you're okay with that, well, you can't put up your 360 quite yet. If you wanted to take your 360 and take it off the entertainment center, put it in a box and seal it up for the future to sell in the future when it's worth money or something, I don't know. Well, you can't do that unless the only games you want to play are the games that are on the backwards compatibility list. And they did announce that they would have quite a few eventually, but that's the thing, they're not going to have them all. So what if, for example, you're a huge fan of Infinite on Discovery? You love that game. It's kind of one of those out there Square Enix titles. It's not quite one of their main JRPGs, but it's got some cool stuff going for it. It's a rough around the edges gem for those that like that sort of thing. But it's likely that it will never be compatible with the Xbox One. So if you take your Xbox 360, move it off your entertainment center, unplug it, and put it in a box somewhere, well, if you want to play Infinite on Discovery, you'll have to pull it all. You'll have to pull it back out, get all the stuff for it, hook up the controllers, plug it into the TV if you even have a port left, or you have to go out and buy one of those switchers because you don't have enough HD ports to plug everything in, HDMI ports. So again, I'm really feeling like this Xbox One backwards compatibility thing is really just not going to pay off for Microsoft. I think it's a good choice in terms of the value add for the consumer, but the ultimate cost-benefit ratio, it just isn't there. And again, I mean, unless you only want the games that, unless the only games you want to play are the ones they just happen to be selecting, well, again, I mean, you can't really do much with this. You're still going to have to keep your 360 out, and why would you put one of these games in the Xbox One and play it on that if it just plays the same? Seems like it might even be more convenient to just put it in the 360. So again, this is another case where, well, I hate to say it because many of you don't like hearing this, but the PC wins. I'm sorry, the PC wins hands down. You can still play PC games from the 1980s. There are all sorts of emulators on PC. There are PC emulators for PC. There's DOSBox to emulate old DOS games. And then you can take all of your older PC games, as long as they're made for Windows, a later version of Windows, even some Windows XP games, and still play them on Windows 7, Windows 8. Going into Windows 10, it'll likely still be compatible. So you can go back to a game like Oblivion, and instead of worrying about whether or not your Xbox One is going to be compatible or it won't work on the PlayStation 4, you can go back to Oblivion on your PC and play it. And now if your PC is better than it was back then, which it certainly is, you'll probably have upgraded something about it or everything about it. Well, now you can play it in higher quality, higher resolution, better visuals, and you can go out and get mods, graphics mods to make it look even better, and you can have a better experience, essentially being backwards compatible. So again, this is where the PC wins out against consoles. It's got near perfect backwards compatibility, and even if there isn't backwards compatibility, you can find emulators to run, like I said, DOSBox and all that. So I want to know, what do you guys think about the Xbox One announcement of backwards compatibility? Did this catch you off guard? Because it certainly caught me off guard. I was not expecting it, not in a million years. And do you think it's of any real value to you? And most of all, I'd like to know, is there anybody out there who bases their decision on what console to buy primarily or even exclusively based on whether it's backwards compatible? I don't think there is, but hey, if you're one of those people, list it in the comment section below. If you like the video, give it a like. And as always, guys, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you next time.